Welcome to NFL Week 5 of the Sports Phenom Show, where you get all of my capping insight and picks on every game in under 30 minutes. No boring gibberish, only the main points that need to be said, and no commercials, just the way we like it. I am the owner of SportsBettingPhenoms.com, better known as the Phenom, World Series of Handicapping Champion. I run the only site on the planet where all of our cappers had to go through a rigorous qualifying process, all of which did so with at least a 60% record in unprecedented units of profits, max lines of only minus 150, different tier levels based on each capper's performance, where all results are fully documented from day one, and all of our packages are 100% guaranteed to profit. No one else offers what we do at more than fair pricing and results you simply cannot find anywhere else. Speaking of unprecedented results, how about my Week 4 performance where I swept all of my money, 5 best bets, 5-0. Yes, that's right. You heard right. 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. And went 12-2 overall on all of my side and total picks. Now, there's a lot of other cappers and videos out there, folks, giving out their red hot and blazing 5 picks. That's or whatever they're calling them. But rarely, if ever, do you hear them going 5-0. Even more rare is any of them coming even close to my 4-week record, now sitting at an incredible 59 wins and only 31 losses. That's 66% winners over 90 picks thus far. Crazy, right? They say the best sharps hit 65% tops. Well, here with me, you're already getting even better than that. Like taking candy from a baby, like reading tomorrow's newspaper today. So congrats to all of you who have been tailing. Let's keep this money train rolling. Also, before I get to this week's picks, I want to give a shout out to all of the handicappers that signed up for my latest 100 play capping challenge on my Twitter profile, which is, by the way, at sports_phenoms. I wish all of them the best of luck. I'll be giving a weekly shout out to the top cappers here on this video podcast, and make sure you give all of them a follow. A few of them commented on my video last week. Thanks to all of you. And folks, nobody does what I do. Nobody provides you what our service does. You can see all of these cappers' picks and full performance on my Twitter profile. Again, at sports_phenoms. Now, let's get to my picks for week number 5. Who's pumped and ready to do this? Let's get it on. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, our first matchup of week 5 here on Thursday evening. Atlanta was one of my money 5s from last week. I smartly told you to take them on the money line, and I'm going to tell you to do the same again here in this one. I believe the Falcons will win the division. That big win last week coming off the previous loss they also could have won. Should be momentum here. And in order to win the division, you absolutely have to win your division home games, especially against the other co-division favorite. Take the Falcons here in this one, and I also lean towards the over. Next game, and this is my first of 5 Money 5 selections. It's your early Sunday matchup between the New York Jets and the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings. This game, of course, being played in London, England. Hate these games, hate these early games, but hey, that's the NFL for you. So let's get right to it. And right off the bat, I'm wondering, why are the 4-0 Vikings only favored by 2.5 in this game, rather than the 3.5 where I have it? I mean, Jets are 2-2, lost to Denver last week. Vikings look unstoppable and unbeatable right now with Darnold. If this was in Minnesota, it would probably be 4.5 to 6. Am I right? So right away, I'm leaning on the Jets here. This line smells extremely fishy to me. Now, mind you, I'm a bit worried about Rodgers, as he was wobbling a bit at the end of last game. And it really makes you wonder if he's going to be able to play a full season. But at least for this one, I'm going to take him here in this spot. Darnold hasn't come close to facing a pass rush like he will against this New York Jets D. Again, this line is as smelly and fishy as it gets. Buy it up to 3 and take the Jets +3 as my first of 5 Money 5 selections. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. Is there a team with bigger quarterback problems than the Miami Dolphins right now? I mean, if you couldn't even beat the 0-3 Tennessee Titans at home on Monday night prime time to top it all off, then you are in a world of hurt. Tua can't come back soon enough, if he even does. Not that I have much more faith in Brissett and the New England Patriots, but New England is at home and do have a decent defense, so I'll lean towards New England in this one. It's a play more so against Miami and their quarterback issues right now, rather than a play on New England. So we'll take a small official lean on New England here on that game. Next game, Carolina and Chicago. So I've been telling you an easy tale with the Bears this season, and that's to take them at home and play against them on the road. That's worked out perfect so far, mainly because of the Caleb Williams situation. He's shown enough composure and flair to squeak out these wins at home, but as you've seen, it's been the opposite on the road. Now, my problem with this one is the line. I'm not ready to be laying this kind of points with Williams, even in this situation at home. That's been paying off. It's just simply too much. Now we're over a field goal with them. I'm just not willing to lay that much just yet, this early in his career and this early in the season. Now, I know it's against the Panthers, but hey, Carolina has obviously been a lot better since Andy Dalton's been back in the mix. He won that first game in Vegas, and he gave the Bengals all they could handle there last week. So, I mean, how can you not lean towards the Panthers here in this one? We're getting free points as far as I'm concerned. Again, Chicago, not a team ready to be laying this much at this point. So take the Panthers. Next game, Indianapolis and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is my second of 5 Money 5 selections. And just as I told you last week that Baltimore was my favorite of the Money 5, well, this is my favorite of the Money 5 this week. I absolutely love the Jacksonville Jags in this spot. This is the one they right the ship and get their first win of the season. The Jags could have and probably should have beat the Texans in Houston last week. That was by far their best game of the season. And if my memory serves me correctly, the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in eons. At least a decade, I believe. All you stats guys can kind of check that out. I'm pretty sure it's been a very long time since the Colts were able to get a win in Jacksonville. So this is my second of 5 Money 5 selections. It's one of my favorites. I am all over the Jags. Take them on the money line. Next game, Buffalo and Houston. Now this is a tough one. Initially, I was thinking this is a bounce back spot for the Bills after getting trounced by the Ravens last week. A play I gave you in my Money 5. Again, I just finished mentioning how it was my favorite play, and sure enough, they blew the Bills out of the water, brought them back down to earth. You have to think back to what I've been telling you about this Bills team. Who have they played? Nobody, right? And then you look at the other side here with Houston, who barely squeaked by the Jags last week. Now, mind you, as I said, the Jags did play one of their best games of the season, no doubt. But were the Texans maybe looking ahead to this big showdown possibly? And we also have the Stephon Diggs situation. Let's not forget about that. I mean, that's huge in this one, right? He played for Buffalo. He wanted the ball all the time. Had issues there, obviously, behind the scenes. Who knows if he got along with Allen or didn't? They say they're buds, but who truly knows? And now he's playing for the Texans, and you have to imagine he's had this game circled all offseason and been salivating at the opportunity to get back at his beloved Buffalo Bills and let them know what they're missing out with him on. So, man, this is a tough one. Flip a coin on the side, but what does stand out to me on this one is the over. You got to expect these two teams to be giving it all they have to want to win this one. Ego, pride on the line on both sides. Buffalo wants to show Diggs they don't need him. Diggs wants to show that they should still have him. Blah, blah, blah. All that kind of thing that goes into this type of hyped game. Buffalo also looking to rebound after that terrible performance last week. Got to expect them to put up more points here in this one. Texans are going to put up points, no doubt about it. So my lean on this one is to take the over. Next game, Baltimore and Cincinnati. This is my third of 5 Money 5 selections. Last week, I told you my favorite game of the week was Baltimore and how picks like that not only helped me win the World Series of Championship, handicapping of the NFL, but also how I've earned my name and respect as being one of the best NFL cappers on the planet. Well, this game is going to be another example of that, folks. Everyone and their grandmothers are going to be on the Baltimore Ravens in this one. I mean, look what the public's already done to this game. They've already moved the line from Baltimore plus 1.5 to 2.5. And rightfully so, right? If you're the public, you're seeing the big Baltimore win last week over the then unbeaten Buffalo Bills. But what did I tell you? Who's Buffalo played, right? And now you have Cincinnati, who's just 1-3. And let's not forget, they're traditional slow starters. So this is why the public now is giving 0% love for the Bengals. 4 full points this line has moved. Well, let me tell you, I love the Cincinnati Bengals in this one. Baltimore, as I said, coming off that big win last week against Buffalo. But key, again, is who have the Buffalo Bills beat? No one. And everyone and their grandmothers thinks Baltimore is the easy play here. They're not. Let me tell you, they are not. The Bengals' traditional slow starters, as I just finished mentioning, is the play. This is the soap opera of the NFL. Are you following me? Week after week, you can see the storylines building up only for you to get blue-balled on every wrong turn. Don't fall for it. This is why Vegas always wins and the public always loses. The right play, the buzzkill here is to play the Bengals, buy it up a half point to +3. My third of 5 Money 5 selections. Next game, Cleveland at Washington. Now, if you remember back to my recording in week 1, I said, don't be surprised if Jaden Daniels might even be better than Caleb Williams. And it sure the heck is starting to look that way, isn't it? Not taking anything away now from Caleb Williams. He's been solid, no doubt about it. But Jaden Daniels has been an absolute beast, a stud, with over 80 points on offense the last 2 games and over 100 in the last 3. Are you kidding me? Who would have thunk that? Jaden, unlike Caleb, has also won his last 2 games on the road in Cincinnati and Arizona. A very tough place to win. How impressive is that? I mean, seriously. He just keeps getting better and better and better. And right now might be looking like the runaway rookie of the year if he keeps this up. Now, the only problem in this game is the high line. It's getting adjusted now. And Washington hasn't been in this position yet, laying these kind of points. So, not only is the line an issue here, but I believe this is a little bit of a letdown then. They're reading the newspapers. They're hearing all the hype about themselves. So this is the time now to jump the other way and take Cleveland plus the 3.5. Next game, Vegas and Denver. I really don't like this game. You have Vegas, who is a false 2-2 to start the season. They seem like a train wreck that's already either happening or about to happen. Now you have the Davante Adams situation. He's going to be traded. I have a feeling he's going to end up going to the Jets. This was talk in the offseason. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers would love to have his old compadre back, and Adams surely isn't going to mind that either. So you know there's problems behind the scenes, even more so when I heard about the coach peeping Davante Adams' social media and liking one of his posts about wanting a trade. I mean, how bizarre is that? Then we have the Broncos here coming off a big win in Motown against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. How crazy was that? And they also beat the Bucs the week before that. So 2 surprising wins here by the Denver Broncos. So just not sure, what to believe and expect moving forward. Are the Broncos going to keep this up? Are the Vegas Raiders going to be in complete disarray or maybe even better without Adams, kind of like Buffalo's been without Diggs so far? There's just too many question marks as far as I'm concerned in this one. I mean, Denver coming off those 2 big wins and looking like they're starting to build some chemistry here with their rookie quarterback, and the disarray and unknown with the Raiders and what's going on there behind the scenes is just going to make me lean then ever so slightly to Denver in this one. Next game, Arizona and San Francisco. This is my 4th of 5 Money 5 selections. And isn't this one an interesting one? You have San Francisco, which I gave you as part of my 5-0 sweep of my Money 5 selections last week. I told you some of these bigger favorites of a touchdown or more are going to start blowing out teams. They were, I think, 0-4 heading into week 4 last week, these favorites of a touchdown or more. None of them had covered, and I told you that's going to change. Again, the soap opera of the way the NFL works. And that's exactly what happened here last week as San Francisco crushed New England. I feel bad for all you dog backers. That was not the time to take New England. This was the time to take San Francisco. And now what do we do in this one? On the other side, you have the disappointing Arizona Cardinals sitting at a dismal 1-3 on the season, and they're coming off an absolute trouncing at home to the Washington Commanders and rookie Jaden Daniels, who tore them up. That's now 2 straight home losses for Arizona. So after getting utterly embarrassed last week, you have them coming into this division matchup against San Francisco. So you probably immediately think San Francisco was the play here, right? Well, not so fast. This is a divisional game, and even though San Francisco righted the ship last week, let's not forget they did so against those lowly 1-3 Patriots. And they are still without 2 of their superstars in Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. There's other injuries now with Kittle again. So I believe the desperate Cardinals give them a run for their money. They traditionally have close games, these two teams, and keep it within a touchdown. Again, the soap opera of the NFL. Forget about last week. Let's concentrate on this week. Arizona, the play. My 4th of 5 Money 5 selections plus the 7.5. Next game, New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. Last week, my final of my 5 Money 5 plays was on the Detroit Lions. I told you the Seahawks hadn't played anyone yet, and Detroit, who had righted the ship the week before against Arizona after losing at home to the Bucs the week prior, would bring them back down to earth, and that's exactly what happened. Last week was just simply that good. Everything I said came to fruition. Now that Seattle is back down to earth here in this one, I believe the Giants surprised them here. The Giants played decent against the Cowboys. Remember, they only lost to America's team by 5, if you remember, and have had a mini bye since then. It's 10 days since that last game. So I like the Giants to keep it close. They're well rested here after that mini kind of sort of bye in a way with the 10 days rest. And Seattle, they're coming off their first loss of the season. So not only is it a bit of a letdown spot here for Seattle, but you're getting the Giants off a 10 days rest, and Seattle also has San Francisco on deck, so they could very well be looking ahead to that game. Definitely the way to go is the Giants on this game. Buy it up from 6.5 to 7. It's already moved 3 points. Now you're going to get it up another to a key number of 7, 3.5 points. You're getting great value on the New York Giants. Next game, Green Bay and the LA Rams. So how interesting is this Green Bay team that's 0-2 with Love and 2-0 with Malik Willis? Things that make you go, could Love's knee still be bothering him possibly? Then again, Let's take a closer look. Love has lost against the Eagles and Vikings. Vikings 4-0. Eagles, good team. While Willis beat New England and Indy. So, not sure if there's that much there to look into just yet. I think it's just Love hasn't got things going yet. Yes, maybe his knee still might be bothering him. So, I think that's all going to change eventually, and Green Bay is going to be a quality playoff team. Now, the Rams, on the other hand, have major injury problems. They're probably the most injury-riddled team next to San Francisco at this point in the season. Main reason why they're off to a 1-3 start out of the gate. And this one is a tough one. It's really hard to imagine on one side that Love's going to be 0-3 in his first 3 games of the season. And it's also just as hard to imagine Stafford and the Rams starting the season at 1-4. So, Rams have won their only home game thus far this season, so I'll take a crack with them at home just because of the points here. Not sure if Green Bay should be favored this high. Take the Rams plus the 3.5. Next game as we enter Sunday evening, Dallas and Pittsburgh. Every game that goes by, I believe we are one game closer to getting Justin Fields back to the sidelines and Russell Wilson back at the helm. Now, even though the Steelers are 3-1, they've only had one game over 20 points, so it's clearly the Tomlin defense that's been getting them through these games. Not that Fields hasn't been decent, but it's definitely going to catch up to him. Did already last week. They lost their first game. And now he's coming up against the Dallas Cowboys here, whose defense isn't that great to say the least. So he might be able to look somewhat decent again for at least another game here. But I'm definitely not running to the ticket window just yet on this one, or if at all. Dallas obviously has been a train wreck this season. So hard to trust your money on them. You just don't know what to expect on a week-to-week basis. What stands out to me is all this public money on Pittsburgh here. Taking the line from Dallas minus 1.5 to Pittsburgh minus 2.5. It's actually a bit surprising, to be honest with you. And when I see this type of public movement, I know I'm going to win more times than not by going the other way. So with that in mind, that's really my main analysis on this one. Take Dallas. It's just strange. All this money going on the public side on Pittsburgh. Don't see Vegas getting killed on this one. So let's take Dallas, buy it up to +3, but I'm not excited about that game at all. Next game, and this is your Monday nighter and final game of my money. 5 selections. Now you're going to want to listen to this breakdown, folks. This is my shocker of the week, the month, and maybe also the year. Mark my words, the Saints can win this game outright. Now, here's the thing. You're probably all thinking, what the fuck is the Phenom doing? All he's been talking about is how much of a fraud this New Orleans team is. I went against them in last week's game and won. Also the week before that and won. So why on God's green earth would I take them in this spot? Very valid question, especially off of 2 losses on a Monday night nationally televised primetime affair against the champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, to top it all off. And under a touchdown spread, just to make you sweat a little bit more. Well, again, this is why I'm a world champion handicapper, folks. And I get paid the big bucks to give you shocker plays like this one. Without giving you all of my tricks of the trade and inside info, let me just break it down for you like this. This Rice injury for Kansas City is going to be a huge loss for them, to say the least. They should have lost to the Ravens. Am I right? Kansas City? They should have lost to the Bengals. Same with the Falcons and same with the Chargers. I mean, they very easily could be 0-4. This team is the biggest fraud of the season thus far. I know some people are going to argue that. I get it. But I'm telling you, they are the biggest fraud of the season. Yes, I know they have the refs in their back pocket. And if that's not bad enough, they also have the executives in the league that would love nothing more than for them to win every single game. But do you think for a moment Vegas is liking it? You think they like losing all this money to Kansas City bettors every single game? But I'm telling you, folks, this is going to come to an end. Kamara and Hill, the combination of those two players are a perfect recipe to throw a knuckleball at this team at Kansas City that's used to nothing but fastballs. Mahomes and the refs might end up saving their ass once again with an outright win. But you got Kelsey, which is maybe their only offensive weapon, looking like he's been blue-balled all season. And I wonder why. And let's face it, Kansas City does not cover spreads. So their luck has to run out. It's also a bit of a letdown game after a big divisional win for Kansas City against the Chargers last week. So if there's a spot where Kansas City finally loses a close one, I believe this is it. So this is another one of my classic spots and picks that I absolutely love to shock the world with. Take New Orleans plus the 6. And don't be afraid to sprinkle a bit on the money line. New Orleans, my 5th and final Money 5 pick selection for week number 5. It's your big shocker of the week. Now, let's get to the rundown here. I'm going to repeat my final 5 Money 5 selections once again. First, one of my favorites of the 5, Jacksonville on the money line. Another shocker, Cincinnati. Buy them up to 3, take them plus 3. They could easily win this one outright. Another dog, New York Jets, fishy line on that game. We're going to buy it up to 3 and take advantage. Jets plus 3. Arizona, another team that should keep things close against an injury-riddled San Francisco team on a letdown game and a bigger game the following week. Take Arizona plus 7.5. And finally, the big shocker of the week, New Orleans, to keep it close, maybe even win outright, plus the 6 against Kansas City. So that'll do it for week number 5. I'm the Phenom, wishing you all an amazing week. Let's get this money. See ya.